The changes in the console ecosystem and the console landscape have been pretty drastic over the last, I'd say, 5 to 10 years. Because while things are still pretty as, business as usual for the consoles, you buy a plastic box and the plastic box plays this list of games approved for the plastic box, and there's digital games for the plastic box and controllers and peripherals and software updates for the plastic box. I feel like that's been the way things are. You buy the box, you get the curated list of games for the box, and the box is going to run said curated games however it feels like it. And that could be just my PC gamer talking. I've made it no secret that I left the plastic boxes behind a long time ago because the plastic boxes annoyed me, and I wouldn't change a flippin' thing. What's that song? It's like, and I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. I think I just made that song up. I don't think that's actually a song. Sometimes I do this where I'm thinking about something and I'm talking about something, and then I'm like, yeah, no, everyone's gonna get this reference that I make, and it's either a really obscure reference that nobody is going to get, or I just flippin' made something up without realizing it. I think that's what just happened. Anyways, but with the growth of the PC gaming market over the last, 5 to 10 years, and the relative stagnation of the console market over the last 5 to 10 years, I think it's no secret that something's going to have to change for the future of gaming, and people like me in the PC gaming ecosystem like to say that everything's going towards the PC, which I think is true. If the behavior of all these publishers is to be believed and we were to take these things to their next logical step, then yeah, the next logical step is that everything goes to the PC, and not that the PC becomes the only ecosystem, not that the PC becomes the only gaming hardware on the market, but rather that the other pieces of gaming hardware and the other gaming hardware brands on the market start to become more and more like PCs. Because there are so many differences between the PC and the console that it's really easy to see where the console could be improving, where the PC is doing well in ways that the console is not. And that is kind of what brings me to today's topic, is just the sheer number of PC-centric announcements that Xbox has been making over the last few weeks. And when it comes to the console manufacturers, Microsoft has obviously been the most PC-centric and the most excited to embrace the PC marketplace as part of their ecosystem. They ditched console exclusivity a long time ago. They've been embracing the PC. They've had their own PC launcher, their own PC storefront for a long time now. And I think they've done rather well for themselves. Xbox published games on the PC tend to do rather well, relatively speaking. They're making a lot of money that they weren't making before. They're making a lot of revenue they weren't making before. But this does raise a few questions as to what the next step is. Because there's going to be another Xbox console. There's going to be another generation of Xbox hardware. But what I've been saying for a long time, and what seems to be coming true now, is that the next generation of Xbox hardware is not going to look like the generations before. It's not going to look like a traditional console. Personally, I'm perfectly fine with that because I don't give a hoot about consoles as it is. But I want to just go over all of the PC-centric things that Microsoft has been saying recently and kind of discuss why I do or don't think they're going to work. Because some of them I think are really good ideas. The Xbox handheld I think is a great idea. Next generation of Xbox hardware, that's basically just a Xbox branded pre-built PC. I think that's a fantastic idea. Basically just a larger version of what the Steam Deck is doing and what the Xbox branded ROG Ally is doing. I think that's a great idea. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I'm rambly. I've had too much coffee today. That's not a song that I made up, by the way. That's just a thing that I said. I know you thought that I would just, with my genius, my utter songwriting genius, you thought I made up that song. I didn't. No, wait, I did. I did make... The fuck is wrong with me? I'm just saying anything these days. But all that to say is I want to talk about the future of Xbox as a hardware manufacturer, not as a game publisher, because I think Xbox's future as a game publisher is rather clear. But I want to talk about Xbox's future as a hardware manufacturer because there are some good ideas that have been announced and there are some bad ones, or at least I think they're bad ones. So the first little tease that we got of the next generation of Xbox hardware was the Xbox Ally, which is essentially just an Xbox branded ROG Ally that's going to have presumably a more unique UI, a unique layout that you'll be able to use to swap between the Xbox launcher, Steam, Battle.net. It's basically just going to be an Xbox branded, very high tech, very nice, very versatile piece of handheld PC gaming tech. And when this thing was initially announced, I was intrigued for sure because that's a choice. I do think handheld gaming PCs are the future of handheld gaming because they're just such an obviously good idea, especially now that the tech is rather accessible. If you're going to get a handheld piece of gaming hardware, why not get a super versatile one? Why not get one with a whole metric buttload of games? It's about time someone other than Nintendo started making a name for themselves in the handheld gaming space. I mean, obviously, flippin' Sony's not gonna do it. Flippin' Microsoft might as well chip in. I did have a few concerns with this, and I think my concerns are the same as everyone else's. Not so much that it's a bad idea for this to exist, but rather the simple fact that when you brand it as an Xbox but don't have native Xbox support, you're going to lose a few people. I got really excited when they announced this thing because I just figured that there would be native Xbox console game support on this thing, as well as it being a handheld gaming PC. Evidently, I was wrong. It is just a handheld gaming PC with an Xbox logo on it, but I do think the next step is, on top of that, on top of having Xbox branded things, Xbox branded pieces of hardware, start building in Xbox support, Xbox game support for those things into the hardware, so that way you can play Xbox games that don't have native PC ports. That way you can get Xbox achievements for all these games, despite them being PC ports. I think that is the logical next step, which brings us to the second piece of Xbox hardware news that came out recently, which is this big announcement that Microsoft did, saying that AMD is going to be helping them with the future of their hardware, which certainly seems to suggest that the next generation of full-size gaming hardware from Xbox is basically going to be a pre-built PC with an Xbox logo on it. It's basically just going to be this Xbox Ally, but instead of being a handheld, it's a console. Instead of it being a handheld with a tiny little screen, it's a box that'll go under your TV and plug into your TV as if it were a console, and then you have all of these PC storefront support in the machine on the full-size machine. I think that is a logical next step for this. And according to some recent reports, there is allegedly Xbox emulation in the works right now, I believe, for this exact purpose. Microsoft is allegedly working on an Xbox emulator for original Xbox and 360 games that are under the Xbox umbrella but don't have native PC support. They're officially coming to PC, presumably through an official Xbox emulator, because I'd assume that's much easier than making native PC ports for all of these games. But I guess my point is, why else would they be doing this if not so they could bridge the gap to fill the hole that I was just describing? You have Xbox branded PC hardware that can't play all the Xbox games. It seems logical that the next step would be to make all of the Xbox games playable on said hardware with an official Xbox emulator for all of the Xbox games that don't have native support on PC. And all of this sounds good so far. Everything I've described so far is good. I would say these are all good ideas. Now, at the time that I'm recording this video, another new thing was just officially announced under the Xbox hardware umbrella that I'm not entirely clear on, and that being this: a limited edition MetaQuest Xbox edition? Question mark? I wasn't aware Microsoft gave a singular hoot about VR, because we went from what seemed like a unified strategy and a very specific strategy on the PC to them kind of just putting their name on every piece of PC gaming tech that they can, up to and including VR headsets now. And this could just be a one-off thing. This could be completely unrelated to the overall strategy. That's not impossible. I'm not ruling it out. I just think it's interesting that we went from unified PC strategy, very deliberate and seemingly explicit PC strategy, to just, frick it, we'll put our name on that. And that's really what leads into what I said earlier in the video about how some of these ideas seem rather good and other ones seem like they might not be the best idea, because now you're running the risk of diluting yourself as a PC gaming brand if the intention is to become a PC gaming brand. If the intention is not to become a PC gaming brand, then gosh darn it, Microsoft, I have no fucking clue what you're doing. But with all of my groundwork very rambly-ishly laid out, I want to address the big question. Is this going to fucking work? And by work, I don't mean dominate the market space. There seems to be a mindset with a lot of console fanboys and console-centric people that unless a console is like the most dominant thing ever, then it's a total flop, and the only successful consoles are the ones that absolutely dominate everything else on the market. That's obviously not true. If that were true, Xbox would have exited the hardware space a long time ago instead of looking for ways to evolve and innovate. And even if you think Xbox is totally shit and Sony Sony is the top dog all the time, I also want to point out that if the top dog were the only one who is allowed to exist, Sony would have exited the space a long time ago as well. Namely, after the PS3 was completely dominated by the Wii. Obviously, that didn't happen, so let's drop this idea that the only way for a console to be successful is for it to be the most successful thing ever. In order for a piece of hardware to be successful, the person making the hardware simply has to deem the profits worth it. And I do want to talk a little bit about how this is going to be for Xbox, because on one hand, I think this could be very profitable for them to make a whole bunch of PCs, but I'm also a PC gamer. I think having a really easy entryway into PC gaming like this could be very beneficial. I think Xbox pivoting in this way and getting out of the traditional console space is a very good idea given the trajectory that the industry is on right now. But also, that being said, who is this going to appeal to? And I don't mean that to be saying that like facetiously, like, oh, who does this appeal to? But literally, who is the target audience for this? Because as much as I like to dispel the idea that PC gaming is too complicated and people who like PC gaming are not all gigantic nerds who like computers, I think we do need to look at the realistic thing here and recognize that a lot of the people who buy consoles are just there to buy a console. They don't care about PC gaming. They don't care about thinking that hard about their video games. They just want a simple machine that plays video games. So the choice is between a traditional console like the PS6 and the next generation Xbox, which is a console PC hybrid, but basically just a PC that you're going to have to do at least a little bit of understanding on with different storefronts and whatnot. That could be a deciding factor for you not to buy the Xbox, which means this would be a piece of hardware that is theoretically accomplishing the opposite of its goal, if the goal is to make the Xbox hardware ecosystem more appealing to more people. And keep in mind, that's not me saying it is a worse product, because I think this would be a fantastic product, an easy piece of hardware that has access to all these different PC gaming storefronts, that has access to all of these different prices, all these different games, all this great backwards compatibility. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's a very pro-consumer idea. I think it's the most pro-consumer path that a console manufacturer could possibly take. But does that mean it's going to be profitable in the way they want it to be? That, I think, remains to be seen. I'm just not all that sure. I certainly want it to be, because if something like this is profitable, that means this sets the standard for the future of console gaming, which just means console gaming as a whole is starting to move in a more pro-consumer direction than it otherwise would have been, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I think that's the best case scenario for everyone. And I guess what I'm getting at here is the fact that my main concern about this next generation of hardware as it's being portrayed is the possibility that it doesn't do well. And if it doesn't do well, then what happens? AAA gaming and console gaming as a whole has a bad tendency to double down on the worst, most anti-consumer ideas known to man. So now that a AAA console manufacturer is starting to jolt awake and realize what's good for consumers, if it doesn't do well, I think we all know that the other console manufacturers are going to see that as an absolute green light to just double down on the stuff people don't want. Because hey, it's not like the pro-consumer thing made money, right? At the end of the day, I want what's best for the gaming industry, because I love video games. And I love the creativity, and I love the fun factor. I love what this industry is capable of creating, and I want what's best for it. And I truly believe what's best for it is to get away from the anti-consumer practices that come with being so married to a console-centric hardware ecosystem. The industry being so console-centric means the industry is also very corporate-centric, and when the industry is very corporate-centric, it is less creative. It is less rewarding to true creatives and truly original ideas. I just want what's best for the industry, man. I think that's all I'm trying to say. And I'm certainly intrigued to see how these things play out. I don't know why I said that like a Resident Evil villain. I'm intrigued to see how this hardware is received by the masses. It'd be a shame if something else were received. Like a big fucking zombie virus. Okay, toodles. Hello there, dear viewer. I'm currently out of town. I want to do the Dofus Club, instead I have to frown. The 7th of July is when I will return. You have until that date to make your name a burn. I summon you, O Doofus, to change your silly name, so when I record the next end credits, I have but myself to blame. Fart Nugget Poopy Spit Sack. Adam Raz 26, Max Killer V2 Gaming, Kyle Ward 789, Nate Blast 1314, Jimmy Chops, Mom Close the Door, I'm Goonie, Michael Musial, Master Killer, Firestorm 2056, Demetrius Papagiorno, Showbiz NCNA, Banshee, Tom Snorlax, and N Omega Moltheme, Dan Porterbridge, Dan Porterbridge, One Man Savage, Binary Deviant, Oracle, Unknown 186718, Kev Dog 1992, Joe from Furcon, Official Dregs, Mash Star, No Mom, It's Mine, I'll watch it as fast as I want, Bear Brain, Epion 504, Grimsy, Edge Knight 1789, The Caffeine Addict, Corporal Dixon, Kushka, Unicorn Rocco, El Antagrivis 2005, Better Fondue, Ass Shitter 69 420 Remastered Poopy Edition, Look, Listen, Appearing Offline does not fucking stop it, Tom from Spokane, Raisinger, Sense Nakage, and Non-Volod, Tickle Biddies, Partial Mean 8, Nick, Volksalto, JJ Dusty, Held Nuva, Cod Stop It, Codman 4372WX, I need a stupid name for Joe to read out loud for everyone to see, Celerock, Gold Pyrac, Alderoth 01, I pay for this with a stolen elderly woman's card, Doug Nixie Smile, Snake Eyes 327, Devastator 2000, Joe, please let us touch it, tip you, Joe, please let us touch it, you sexy man, MK2396E, I'm still on the moat, Joe, please get help, Hentai X, Machina Gamma, Elite Wolf, Fire Hazard 105, Pluto Penguin, GWXSS, Rast the Wolf, Emiko, Okie Toodles, Jack Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Really Zerg, Gaming with the People, All Games Video, Japanese name that says, oh no, Joe is out of town, however will I goon with myself, Todd Howard is our Lord and Savior, Chris Void, Pope Ralph on the Rat King, Jessica Spiral, Jessica Shepard, Riki Spiral, Riki Tiki Tabby, Muskie, that video was not funny, Joe, you should cut that, Grimmy the Steel Angel, Nintendo and PlayStation, Fanboy Civil War is coming, Jason Jason Bond, Baron Von Vaderham, Cyrus 6771, don't call me Doofus, it hurts my feelings, True Text 940, I'm Joe's phone, text notification, ding.mp4, the first Doofus, Creed Warrior 23, Max Chev, Chap is going away for a while, take care for now, Totally Insane, Vedota Autry, Black Cobra, the NWA Slayer, Night of Cypher, and ML04, I own 6 cards that click 2006 on Blu-ray, Oh No, It's a Bald Banana Man, Wolf of Midnight, Stick Rider, Pig Venus, Sequence Studios, Film Kraken, Ohm Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thorn Skating, Bag of Neck, Severin Evans, Sonny 03, Scalina, Fricka Y Mixer, Pow Pow, White Trouble, Donnie Weston, Nick Donegan, Draws Mex on Twitch, Come Hang Y'all, Gob Gosson, Rogue Winter 919, Bobby Hinner, Kenny Kitten Fanny, Hangman for Hire, Elden Noble, Frost Crystal, Biogenesis, Ian in Action, Papa Pinkus 97, Mega Keys, Crevice Go, Ghost Ho, Rias, Agony Judge 06, Vast Girl, Raptor, Tim the Amazing Blight Man, Blue Hook, Jeff from Portland, I'm using my Steam Deck as my main PC, nice, Jody Breeze, Smitty, Worky Jägerman Jensen, Max Lorel Cholo, Zord, The Advertisement, Diego Garcia, JJ Dusty, and my Kimmikins, I American Idiot, Darth Muffin, I don't know, it's Justin, Rain, Rui, Twin Women, Mechanical Raisins, and N, 6 Stream, The Wolf 7, Joey Scoops, Negative Taku, Joe, no, Negative Creep, Joe Taku, Poop P Bang, Cat Chicken Sucker, Mom Banger 8008, Wannabe Hobo Jidge, West Sabilla 310 Char, Rub C, Veg, Groovy Banana, Curtin, Allen, Spack, the Scrum Master Scroll with the gun, makes my PP nuts go pew pew. You're stuck with that shitty ass reading for the next, week. Okay, toodles.